Welcome everybody to the ESL CSGO Pro League. It's the final week and we are going to be sending one more team to those finals in Dallas, but we've also got to find out who's going to be battling it out in relegation as well. My name is Dan Gaskin and I'm joined on the desk this week by Harry, or just Harry, however you want to go by your alias. How are you feeling today, my friend?
I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling too great for the teams that we are playing today. You know, it's high stakes all round, and I feel like, you know, the pressure's really going to be on the last day of ESL Pro League to decide, you know, what's actually happening, who's going to be perhaps relegated down, who's going to be making it through to the LAN finals. There's a lot up for grabs today.
There's definitely a lot on the line, and we should have a look at the standings as well in a second and see really the implications of the matches today. Of course, all the matches are going to be played at exactly the same time today to make sure there's no crazy shenanigans happening and we'll get some fair results. So at the top, North and Mouse, they have already qualified for the finals at Dallas, but competing later today, we've got G2 and FaZe. They are going to be trying to get to the finals. Down at the bottom, that's when it gets interesting for the relegation. Kinguin already relegated. They have no hope in hell, but we've still got to see whether VP, LDLC, NIP, Hellraisers, Heroic, they are still in the battle to see who is going to be dropping down. Of course, you can't see the actual points there, but VP, LDLC, they're both on 27 points. NIP and Hellraisers on 30 and Heroic on 33. So Heroic should be safe, but they still have to check out how results are going to go their way. Is this how you saw the table kind of panning out when the start of the season happened, Harry?
Not, you know, kind of, but not really. I mean, there's a couple of surprises in there. Really, when we think back to a couple of months ago, Mouse Sports being so near the top, I think was one that definitely took everyone by surprise after seeing, you know, Nico leave the roster originally when he joined FaZe. Everyone kind of thought, I think, this could be the end for Mouse Sports, at least for a while. You know, no one expected them to have a resurgence so damn quickly. But they've already qualified. We saw them play not that long ago on LAN for the first time with Rops. I was actually there at the DreamHack Tour. And the performance there, yeah, and a little bit of,
I was there.
Yeah, I was there.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, his performance on LAN was something that was quite interesting to see. That's why I'm so excited to see him now stepping into, you know, the Pro League finals, seeing how he's going to do there. When we look at it as well, VP being down in the bottom. Of course, there was that issue kind of in the last season where they didn't do too great. This time it seems to be the same case yet again. And that's just the case of them not being too great online, something we can probably bring up a hell of a lot later, seeing as, you know, we do know how the schedule is going to go. But yeah, I think there's a lot of surprising results on there, a lot that was expected as well. But ultimately, I think it's very interesting. Well,
speaking of schedule, let's have a look at the schedule for today's games. Of course, we only have two. On the main stream, we have G2 versus FaZe, as I said, competing to try and get a spot at those finals in Dallas. But over here, we have North versus VP. North can win the whole league table if they win both of their games outright. Mouse could catch them up if they were to lose games today. For VP, they're just battling and they don't want to be in that relegation. So let's focus a little bit more then on North versus Virtus.pro. I mean, I'm a big VP fan. I'm not going to lie. I've been following them for a long time, and of course, many people have because they're one of these rosters that stuck together for so long. But they just don't seem to perform well online. I mean, is there any reason why that is the case? Is there any kind of thing you can take from recent gameplay that suggests they're just better on LAN than online?
Yeah, well, you know, the thing with VP is it's kind of always been the case that they've struggled a lot online. I think they're a team that thrive a lot off kind of the adrenaline from an audience. That's something we see a hell of a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's, you know, normally what makes or breaks a lot of these teams. And quite often it's sad to say that it's the other way around. LAN results being the ones that matter the most. They always kind of have the highest prize pools. They're definitely where the skill is most clearly shown. And, you know, a lot of teams, the issue is entirely the opposite, right? They're terrible on LAN. Well, not terrible, but they struggle a lot more being under that pressure. And then are really good online. A team that I think isn't too bad of an example of that was Mouse Sports. I think they were expecting to do more on LAN, and that's mainly due, for example, you know, to having Rops new to their lineup. He never been on LAN before, very young, and they kind of ran into that issue a little bit, you know, struggling on LAN, but have been amazing online. VP, very much the opposite. They thrive under that pressure of the LAN environment. They just do so much better as a unit. And I mean, in all honesty, this is something I kind of said to you. They're a team that can be of one of two extremes. They're either Virtus, you know, Virtus Plow, or just Virtus Throw. They're never kind of anywhere in between.
Two extremes.
Yeah.
Where's the Virtus.pro? We need to find the in-between. Well, the last time they were in the Pro League, they beat G2 16-12, I believe. It was on Inferno, and Inferno is going to be the first map. So that's really just saying what you were talking about. They can show up when they need to, and perhaps now they're in this relegation zone, they're going to be saying, right, we actually need to turn up here. But they're going up against North. Now, North, of course, absolutely blowing away the Pro League at the moment. But recent results at IEM Sydney, didn't really perform too well. So perhaps they're on the opposite side of the spectrum. They're struggling on LAN, but performing well online. How do you see Inferno playing out? Are you thinking that North should be able to take this one quite comfortably?
I mean, VP is always a team I hate doing kind of predictions for because of that reasoning, right? They can easily be one of the best teams in the world, or one of the worst teams in like the pro circuit, and we see them lose in games where they definitely shouldn't. Coming into this, it's going to be online, so naturally I feel like VP are going to be at a disadvantage, but we have kind of seen them start to pick things up a little bit, right? As you said, that win over G2, going to be a little bit of a confidence booster, albeit not much. The fact it's Inferno as well, which is one that they've had a mixed bag of results on, but for the most part, it's not their strongest map.
Yeah, I'm looking at results. So they played 10 times competitively this year. Won 3, lost 7. As I said, they did beat G2 recently, but that was with Bialy getting 27 frags. So clearly someone stepped up, and that really made a difference. But it doesn't seem like a strong point for Inferno, for VP. On the side of North, their last 3 matches, of course, they lost at IEM, but I'm looking at Inferno. They played it 11 times this year. They're 6-5 overall. They beat Optic 25-23 in overtime on Inferno last week. So they're definitely well practiced on Inferno. They definitely had a good essence of it. Is this an easy victory, though?
I think it damn well could be. The only thing that is going to be going the way of VP is that the pressure's kind of on. And like I said, they thrive under pressure. The pressure, though, of being relegated is very different to that of being in that LAN environment. I feel like, if anything, this is the sort that could make them perhaps even, lose more harshly than we've seen. We have seen the scorelines getting kind of closer here and there, so I do hold my hopes out for VP. As you said, I'm a big, you're a big fan of them, I'm a big fan of them. I can't think of anyone who, doesn't like VP for the most part. They're such a, experienced kind of original vintage team that's been around for so long. And they have so many kind of the dads of CS in that team. They're just they're phenomenal.
I wonder if they
right?
want to be known as the dads of
just like like the big daddies of Counter-Strike.
That's probably a good.
Yeah, that's
it's
the
better when you
way
put it
to put it. Yeah, I know. Maybe dads of CS wasn't the best way of putting it, but yeah.
Dads of CS are like the ones that have got glasses with a newspaper.
Yeah.
Like, oh, back in my day, 1.6. This was when we played the game.
Yeah, like CRT monitors and whatnot. It's great.
So who are the players to look out for then? We'll go Virtus.pro first. Who's the key to victory? Of course, I spoke about Bialy, him getting 27 frags last outing. Is that someone we should be looking at?
Bialy's definitely someone we should be keeping an eye on. The other one, obviously, is going to be Snacks. He's normally one of the players that you look to kind of be that catalyst, but along with the rest of the team, his results have been dropping off a little bit online. He is normally the main difference maker, but we can see players like Bialy step up. Pash has been having a good time online lately, which is refreshing to see.
Yep.
He's kind of been someone who they've had to rely on a little bit here and there, and everyone across the board can AWP incredibly well, for example. So I think at the minute they are putting on to Pasha. So on Inferno and Cash, I feel like he could be someone to keep an eye on. It's going to be very interesting to see those AWP duels going head-to-head. But yeah, I mean, I would say Snacks, Bialy, and Pasha would be the top 3 for me to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I remember a few key Snacks moments with the Swag 7, or the Snack 7, as some people were calling it, throughout past tournaments. So he'll be exciting to watch, that's for sure. Okay, moving over to North then. Who's the key factor in this team? Is there anyone that's really going to stand out, or are they just a solid unit nowadays?
I mean, in my opinion, they're a solid unit, right? But Config is someone I'd keep an eye on. I think he's fantastic. I very much adore his play style. I think he plays situations incredibly smartly. Magisk as well, someone who I'd keep an eye on. They're going to be my kind of top 2 for that team. There's just something about watching those guys play. I always find it's a little bit breathtaking. And also, I mean, Config is a very nice guy. I've met him a couple of times, as is everyone on North, but he's the one that I would say I spoke to a lot, and I know how driven they are. To really make this work. And that's one thing that's very clear. I mean, if you follow them, they are really striving to be successful with this team.
Well, whilst we are waiting for these players to get into the game, I believe we have a little bit of a highlight reel from last week's matches. So check out these top 5 plays from last week's Pro League games.
But he's still very diligent at this, but I wonder if he can handle these 3 players coming his way. Oh, of course he can. It's Rain! 3 big kills.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But it was done when the reskinning was done for
What's happened there?
Did that really just hit?
10-2, like he said. A difficult round, considering Body's trying it again. Oh, no! He did it again!
Oh, no way! No way!
and was almost going to get traded by Shroud, but Yell saves him at the very last second. Now it's a 5v2. At the very least, nothing is able to catch SHZ finally, and these are not. It was not any of the two players that had already been lit either. So you still have Yell and Destiny that are very easy to take back down. This is still a situation that could be recoverable, at least leading up to the plant itself, as nothing is wrapped back around. Has 3 kills already in this situation. PKL has given himself up inside of heaven over there. They're low on time though, but nothing again strikes. He's gonna go for the ace here. He gets it.
They aren't going that direction. Instead, it's to Config. Goes early, manages to get the second shot though, which gives him the repeat toward Drake. It gets all 4.
Finally, we've got a good shot of this.
Just
and then
Prankton.
Bialy! What is that? Bialy! He's in a 1v2 and it's so winnable. He's got 12 HP. Nico's got 6 and Rain's got 18. I wouldn't put it past him. Oh,
Get help! Get help, Bialy!
Let's go! 4 massive kills for Bialy.
Well, hopefully we'll see more of that from Bialy today, and a little bit more of some crazy pistol action. Remember, guys, as well, if you want to check out the YouTube, you can get all of the VODs, you can find out all of your favorite players and favorite teams. Just go to youtube.com/ESLCS. And of course, you can ring the bell as well. If you don't know what ringing the bell is, there's a little button by the subscription button that notifies you when any video is live. So it's always worth just giving that a little dingle as well, a little tingle tangle, as you do.
Lets you know whenever these are live. And also, let's not forget, there's a whole bunch of good stuff such as VODs, tips and tricks and things like that on there, which it's like a little treasure trove, Now that we've told you about it, you should definitely go and take a look and see what goodies lie in wait there. Yeah,
and if you want to get any of your jerseys as well for your favorite teams, you can head to the shop and purchase one of those. You can see the little link below, shop.eslgaming.com. So if you're a fan of VP, you can go over and get a sweet little VP jersey. I might actually do that after this one. I could do with a VP jersey. I think it's the orange that gets me.
I could see you in a VP jersey.
Is it because we're both ginger?
Yeah, I was going to say, right, I could tell the orange would get you. That's why we're...
Although traditionally they do say ginger people don't look good in orange, but I feel like we could change that.
I know that you could, Dan. I mean, at the end, I'll admit it. I struggle in orange. Orange is a very bold decision.
It is a bold decision
for men of our caliber. Let's just say that.
Just like sunshine, really.
Yeah, there we go. I can't deal with that. It's been horrible, and Leicester's been rainy today for the most part, and I'm still burning.
So Inferno, then we touched on it briefly, and we said that it's probably gonna favour North. But results haven't been fantastic for them, have they?
No, and that's one of the things. When you kind of look into it, you might not necessarily think it's going to be one of their strongest maps, but then on closer inspection, whenever you watch back, the VODs and things like that, you see that a lot of these scorelines have gone incredibly close, very down to the wire. None of the losses were kind of these landslide victories for the opposing team, and that's something which when you compare and kind of contrast that to VP's situation, we see that they've had a couple of close games, but for the most part, there's always been kind of, 6 to 10 rounds in between them and the, their opponent, depending on who it is actually on the day. And, they've taken a couple of games close to overtime. I have to credit VP for that. They have been trying to step things up. It's just the fact of, they know they're not playing up to their usual standard. You can see, even if you quickly flick through their Twitters every now and again, how, sort of angry they are at themselves a little bit with how things have slipped and that fall from grace that they had from being such a strong team to now, in danger of being relegated. These games today are pivotal for VP because potentially they can fight, to keep themselves in the Pro League. They're up against the team, that's kind of residing right up there at the top. And it's a very tall order for them to go ahead and win, but they can still do it. They're VP, I couldn't imagine a Pro League without VP in it. I don't know about you, but whenever I think of VP, I think, they've got to be right up there at the top. I couldn't imagine seeing them competing in Premier. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, they're pros. Simple as.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for them that they're going up against North as well. Yes, okay, North have already qualified for the finals, but North have a chance to win the whole league table. It's still good to go into finals saying, we won this, we were the best team from the group stages, and now we move on into finals. So I wonder if that implication is going to go against VP here. And honestly, after Inferno, if VP lose, how is that going to affect their game 2? Because you're down and out. You need to at least get 3 points to catch up with NIP or Hellraisers. You haven't been able to get any points from the match previously, so you're just pretty much out.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good for the mentality. They'd have to be relying a lot on round difference then, and even then, it's going to be a huge uphill battle, especially seeing as map 2 is Cash. And that is a map that they've opted to hardly play. It's one that they don't really like. It's normally one of their bans very early on. We've seen them really play it. I think it's like 2 or 3 times, once within the last couple of months, and then I think it was 2 or 3 times right at the start of the year. and they've had just a very bad performance on that map. It's one that they tend to stay away from. And, you know, seeing the guys over on North now move into it, it's a map that MSL has said openly before that he's not that keen on, but they're still very good at it. And that's the issue, right? Their IGL might not enjoy the map that much, but the team as a whole is still very strong on it. So it doesn't really matter going into it whether or not they, you know, their personal opinion on the map. They're up against VP, who have been struggling a hell of a lot on Cash. And as far as I'm concerned, them being on that could already be enough to, you know, secure that kind of death sentence for them. And they're going to be fighting, to say an uphill battle, or, you know, it's a bit of an understatement. It's looking near enough vertical at this point.
Well, we know you guys at home like to check out our tips and tricks, so whilst we're still waiting for players to get into the lobby, let's have a little look at some Deagle accuracy tips and tricks for you guys at home.
Hey Future Pros! The Deagle is one of the most powerful pistols in CSGO. Mastering this hand cannon can win you eco after eco. The Deagle kills with one shot to the head, but when used at extreme ranges, this is not the case. The best time to shoot is just after your view model resets. Moving and shooting with this weapon won't get you very far. It also takes a while for the pistol to regain accuracy after falling, so make sure you wait a bit before firing. Don't spam the thing too. Be sure to make slow, singular, controlled shots for maximum accuracy. And now let Nico take it away.
Well, there you have it. Some Deagle Pro tips. I can't use the weapon. I'm not going to lie. I just spam it and hope to hit something. Occasionally, I'll just get some sick plays, but most of the time, I just miss.
I love the Deagle. I mean, I used to play CS a hell of a lot. I think it's fantastic, but no man is as good as it with a player like Nico, for example. As we just saw, he's phenomenal.
Well, he's a pro player for a reason, right?
Yeah, a very old clip. That was a curious one to choose. I guess it's just because it was such a good display of marksmanship on his behalf. He's always been good with that gun. Yeah, I mean, that was what, Mouse versus Titan. That must be a couple of years old now.
It's rolling back the years. Well, whilst we're waiting, let's bring up the standings again so we can just talk about the implications of the games that we've got today. We are waiting for all of the teams to start at the same time. So I believe it's Fnatic and Mouse. We're still waiting for them to be ready, and then we'll be kicking this thing off. So over on the other stream, of course, FaZe versus G2. They're at the top. North, Mouse already qualified. They're on 51 and 48, but G2 and FaZe still have a chance to qualify. And of course, Astralis are in that picture as well, so you have to keep an eye on them. But it's down at the bottom that we're going to be focusing on today's stream. Virtus.pro, we're obviously going to see taking part in this game, but you've got LDLC with them. They're on the same amount of points. NIP and Hellraisers, they're both on 30, just above them. I think Heroic will be safe, mainly because of their round difference. They're on 33. So Virtus.pro, really, it's out of their hands, Harry. Even if they win both of their games, we might see Hellraisers, we might see NIP just go on and win, and they're still in relegation. And I briefly touched on it, and I said, is it going to affect them after they lose game one? Do you think their heads will drop if they were to lose Inferno? Do you think that Cash would just be a blowout? They'd completely say, look, we're probably out of this, what's the point in carrying on? Or do you think they'd still give it a good effort?
I mean, VP aren't the kind of team to give up, right? I mean, when you look at it, even from like a national standpoint, the Polish people aren't the kind of people who just back down. They are very much going to see this through to the end. They're going to give it 100%, all in all. And they're a team that's been around for so long with so much experience. I don't think they'd get into that mindset of just giving up. But that said, I mean, it's going to be a tall order, right, for them to actually be able to save themselves from that relegation spot. We have to see them have a win on Cash if they lose that first map. Not only do they have to win, but it has to be a fairly clean-cut win to try and push that round difference up. And that's going to be a task in and of itself, right? Asking for a win is already asking a hell of a lot from VP. Asking them to then go ahead and win it with a significant margin up against North on Cash is... I mean, that's a scary prospect, right? I think Inferno is something that could make or break this. If they pick it up, they could very well use that momentum to then kickstart, Cash and potentially run away with things. But I am just struggling to kind of see this happen if they don't manage to get Inferno, or at least show that they're playing well on Inferno.
Because have the maps just gone against them? Because I mean, I'm looking at VP's past results of Cash, and you touched on it briefly. They've only played 4 times this year. They've lost 3, they won 1, but it was back in January, and it was,
exactly,
the WESG. So that wasn't even a huge game for them
No, and it was up against a very... it
was an amateur team.
Not like not a team of this caliber by any stretch of the imagination. And even then, it wasn't a very clear-cut victory. So you can kind of see where things get worrying for them. They're moving into a map that usually is one that they tend to instantly veto. It's not a map that they ever try to play on, especially not up against a team who has it in their map pool kind of quite firmly, quite solidified, such as North. So yeah, no, I do think it's going to be a bit of an issue. As you said, we've hardly seen them play. We've seen them play it once within the last couple of months. So, and then at the start of the year, they played it, what, 3 times? And like you said, I think they won it once out of those three.
And they lost, actually, to North back in E-League in February. So I wonder if that's going to have any sort of
There's
effect
a bit of a rivalry here.
Because will they go back? Do you think they'd go back as far as February to study tactics? Or do you think they'll just be looking at recent games from North and saying, well, we don't need to worry about how they played against us. Let's look at how they played against someone else, because North have played it a little bit more in recent times than Virtus.pro have.
I mean, I think they would definitely go back and look at that game that they had between the two of them. Team strategies can change very much so just based on who they are playing against. I mean, every kind of team has these more signature styles that they'll tend towards. For example, back when we used to kind of see the Fnatic with Pronax and stuff on, you used to see it was very, very slow plays running that clock down. And, now we kind of look to other teams. Another example I could give would be like Space Soldiers, where they're a fan of quite explosive plays. And, every team does have their certain stamp of originality that they put on things. And, I think they're going to look at a mixture of both how North have been playing the map recently, see if there's been any changes, any recent developments, but also, how they did play up against VP. That's going to be such valuable information in spite of it being a couple of months old now. And
something I want to quickly pick your brain on as well is, so North, they played versus FaZe at IEM Sydney, and they lost on, I think it was Cash, actually. Does that help them, or does that deter them in your practice? Is it better to have lost a game and then you can work on it, or do you think just carrying momentum through from a win is going to be better when going into a next game?
Yeah, I think that's one that's kind of open to interpretation, really, based on the sort of mentality you have behind the team. Of course, you can only ever really learn from your mistakes. So, to see a team come into it and then lose, especially the FaZe, who have been, a very, very prominent team. They've showed up in a huge way since the, bringing Nico into the roster, for example, and they've been doing very well since then. I think, losing to them is something that North can't be overly disappointed with, but North are aiming for that top spot, so it's going to help them in terms of being able to go back and look at things. I do think as well, like I said, knowing how dedicated North are to not just being a kind of team that floats around, kind of mid, upper echelon, but never quite at the top. That's not what they're about, and that's not what any of these teams are about that you've been speaking about. So, yeah, no, I definitely see them really looking to strive to improve based on that loss. I know that they were disappointed with it.
Well, looks like we're just about ready to get into the first map of the night. Of course, North versus Virtus.pro, and it's going to be Inferno, where we are kicking things off here. Hoping for an exciting one, hoping for a close one, but recent results would suggest that North should blow Virtus.pro out of the water here. But Virtus.pro starting off on the terrorist side. Yeah, and they're already rushing up Banana in towards this B-bomb site. Actually, MSL and Majesty, only 2 players here to hold things back. MSL line them up, knocking them down. We're going to pick up the first, doing some more damage downrange. Picks himself up a second, looking to try and get a little bit more work done as his teammate does perish in towards the site. The rotate's already come through in a big way. As Snacks and Neo find themselves 2v4, they want to try and get this bomb down at Config. He's not going to let things happen. AZ coming in on the flank to dispatch of Snacks, and that'll be North picking up that pistol. If all goes to plan, they should now be able to convert these next couple of rounds. They denied that bomb plant, so they should be able to take this 3-0 early on, which is a great boost for them in this first half. Yeah, certainly. These are the rounds that you do not want to throw away. And nice rotation as well from North, just coming in from AZ, around from Banana. Important that you do have a player that is able to rotate quickly. I find it on Inferno, if you're rotating too slow, it can sometimes be a hindrance. But as you said now, North should be a comfortable round for them, but they just have to play it safe. If they get a little bit too aggressive, a little bit overzealous, it might go against them here if Virtus.pro can catch someone off guard and perhaps pick up one of these weapons. And well, sneaking up in towards Zaps, it's going to be VP. Everyone here, 5 players. I would want to say bomb site. Bomb going to be closely behind them as well. And they're just biding their time, waiting for the utility to come out from North before they go ahead and commit to anything. Pasha going to take a little bit of damage there in the molly. Now looking to try and peek on out. Pop Flash comes in from Config. He goes to check out mid. Now Pasha is to try and help out his teammates here. Does catch Config on the rotate background, so they find the early man advantage. And now just ducking in through CT. It's going to be Pasha with that UMP. MSL down from Banana, doing some damage, but he's worked himself
over towards T-Spawn, and actually this is going to leave them very open to Pasha, who snuck all the way around through CT, joined by Bialy. They have players here to trade, and I don't think Magisk is fully aware of this right now. He's focused a lot on trying to keep MSL alive, who is still kicking for the time being, with Taz with the flank. Does the job of guillotining him into a 3-on-3.
Yeah, VP doing really well here just to make a round of this, to be honest. Magisk will catch another round. Taz does try and run up Banana there, but here comes Pasha still trying to flank from behind. Can he get anything done? No, he can't. Gets caught out by Cajun B, and now it's just all on Bialy. Does find one, looks for a second as well. Will flip out to the Tech 9, but he's still in a 1 versus 2. Only got 20 seconds, so he needs to work quickly, but eventually goes down to Magisk, and it is going to be 2-0 lead to North. Wasn't really a comfortable round there, was it?
No, I mean, it was not how North would have liked things to go. I mean, ideally you want to try and keep 4 or 5 players alive to keep building up that economy. They only keep 2, so they will be losing money as they invest down in towards this round. Not going to be ideal, but VP made a little bit of cash here and there on the frags they did get. Ultimately, though, it's the damage that they did, which is going to be pivotal this round. We've got Bialy on a PT50, the Deagle on Taz as well, as they want to try and claim some more lives, but already Config, he's worked his way down mid. Snacks is going in sneaky. Just hiding in mid, and Config has a rough idea he's there. He can hear him out, but he's going to be spotted, and now they want to try and make some magic happen, but instead he's going to take the duels, does the damage, and okay, Config, what was that flick? He's going to get himself 3. In comes Magisk to mop them up at the end, and Config, I said we had to keep an eye on him, but not because of that flick. I mean, that was phenomenal. Just the sly 180. Look at this play from him here. Boom, takes the head clean off. I think that was of Snacks who was sneaking around there, and that is just what a way for North to take things 3-0.
Absolutely filthy stuff. And having the confidence as well just to push up mid like that, especially in a round that previously was a little bit sticky. He decided to take a very bold move there and try and finish the round nice and early. And it worked out in the end, but now we go into the first buy round for Virtus.pro. They've all got AKs. You're going to see Snacks just try and work his way through apps here, see if he can support his teammates, see if they can find an early pick so they can get onto this site. Magisk's just going to be holding up on Banana. We'll lay a smoke down just to defend it. But here comes the push through apps now. I wonder if North are aware that we're definitely aware now with all those bullets raining down through the smoke. But they have well and truly got hold of apps. So North are going to have to just back off ever so slightly into this site.
Yeah, now North actually stacked 3 players over towards that B-bomb site early on. Now they've rotated 2 of these back in the form of Magisk and MSL, both currently residing over towards Arch. That means Config, he's got the AWP, he's locking down Banana on his own. And well, they have been able to get these players out and over towards mid. No one's watching from Boiler. Instead, we've got Cajun B playing it passively from Pit, and Config, he's going to just annihilate Pasha down towards Banana. And already, you can kind of see this is rendered VP somewhat trapped over here towards mid. They don't want to now challenge Config from that position. It's incredibly strong just to be able to hold things down and buy time for the rotates. They can't trade things out. No one was near enough buy. So instead, they try to make something happen. Out here towards long. Magisk already done a lot of damage. It's MSL to rotate on round and help out in this crossfire. And already VP, they're just being tagged away, chipped away at slowly but surely. Trade frag's going to be able to come in and Snacks and Bialy close it back with 3-on-3, but AZ on the site, not going to go down just yet as he picks himself up 2. It's all on Taz. 1v3, 11 HP. 12 seconds left to play around with, takes the peak, finds the first, got to do more, but Magisk says no, shuts him down before he can accomplish anything, and that's going to be North now, 4-0 up.
Now, I'm not sure if VP were just trying to sell a fake there. They, of course, made the position very aware in apps by raining down some bullets through that smoke, but they just allowed North to rotate, take control of the site, and VP were just still sitting there. And North were the ones who took the initiative. They were the one who peeked out, got the early pick, and then VP were just in a 4 versus 5 situation. Yes, okay, we saw some decent kills coming out from Snacks and Bialy to even it out, but decent positioning from AZ on the site to be able to stop anyone pushing out from apps easily. Bialy actually goes down there, but Snacks falling as well. Taz manages to get a compensation kill, but it's not going to do anything in this round as MSL will just finish that one off. It's 5-0 now, and Virtus.pro already struggling here, and I wonder at what point do they start to think, guys, we need to be winning this game. We're in a relegation spot at the moment.
I imagine they're already thinking that, Dan. I just think that, you know, that round they were quite literally on fire, not in the sense that they need to be either if they want to go ahead and pick this up. I mean, now they're going to be finding buying on down. You got Pasha on the AWP. This could be the change of pace that they need. I mentioned that he's someone who we should be keeping an eye on. He's done some great stuff with the AWP in previous in previous games, and well, already he's down towards bottom of mid, waiting. Going to be peeking up towards Banana. Doesn't take the engagement just yet. Bypasses them, joining his teammates up towards mid, and Config playing the AWP this time over towards A. A nice switch up, but he's going to be punished for his Snacks finds him early on. The man advantage has been taken, and now VP curious to see if they just go off the back of this out towards this A bomb site. If they're going to, they need to be quick because MSL's already rotating round. And actually, you can see they've opted to send Neo back down through mid. He's clearing out the angles over at Banana. There's only one player here in the form of Magisk. He's only got himself an M4 as well, so it's a little bit easier to deal with than an AWP.
These are the rounds that VP need to be winning with the man advantage. Still a minute left, so time to work with, but AZ does pick up a frag, then gets traded off. MSL finding that onto Taz. Now it's a 3 versus 2, an advantage of VP. So just Magisk and Cajun left. Cajun is just going to back off onto the site here, keeping an eye onto balcony there. But VP still not making a move onto this site. North really need to group up here, work together. You can see they've had to split up. You send one to B just in case the rotation comes through from VP. VP now have a little bit of time to work with. They're quick about it. They could want to move on over, but here we go. They're going to move on to the A site here. Nothing just yet, but here comes Cajun B. Finds one, looks for a second. Unfortunately goes down to Neo, and that is just going to be one member of North left. It's going to be Magisk. He's going to be rotating back round. Does still have time, and it is a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, and he's the player that could very well make this a reality as he comes on through. Bomb's going to be taken away. He doesn't have a kit, but there's one right there, which he's going to go ahead and pick on up. Gets himself a second flash, just that little bit extra utility to try and make some magic happen with. And I mean, he's waiting, but the bomb time is taken away. He wants to see if he can find something early on. And no opportunity going to present itself instead. He opts to play things safe. If we bring up the economy of North, I'm sure that we can see that saving this rifle just going to lower the cost of investing into that next round. I mean, we saw that, you know, things have looked a little bit sketchy in spite of them picking up these rounds. They had a couple where they happened to have to build up that cash, but ultimately he's looking to try and do some economic damage here on these players as they exit, but they make the wise decision. They go save in pit. They still got more than enough money to buy up in the next round. It's handy because if you look, Magisk didn't have enough money to invest anyway. Then a gun can be dropped over from AZ on towards one of these players. Looks like, yeah, they are going to have the AWP on config as well. Plenty of utility for them to use. So they've got everything they could possibly want over on the side of North. VP do get themselves their first round, however, and I really liked what they did in that previous round, where they found that initial frag. They were quick to try and extend that lead that much more. They didn't let any kills go untraded, and that's something that's been a bit of an issue for these guys in the last couple of rounds. I mean, their trades haven't been on point. That round looked like a completely different VP in terms of their trading ability, and one that I hope we see more to make this matchup more competitive.
Now MSL, anyone without a rifle, just the UMP for him. We know how powerful and how scary it can be in the right hands. Snacks is once again going to try and worm his way through apps here. Does have utility to work with to try and burst out. He's going to get spotted though. Needs to communicate with his teammates. They need to push together, otherwise they are just going to get caught off guard. Config is smoked off. Can't AWP anything just yet. Molotov comes through as well, so he's just going to have to back off. So VP slowly just pressuring North back onto that site before they press and make their move. But looks like they might even choose to rotate round to be here instead, trying to be a little bit more unpredictable, as they have been trying to hit that A site quite a lot so far this game.
Hot flash down towards Banana. That's going to force Magisk on back, and now the push comes up. They leave Bialy behind just to try and sell that fake out towards Apps. If he can find a frag as well, then they still got a little bit of time to rotate players around. But with 35 seconds left, when the smokes and flashes rain on in, they should get a good idea as to what the intent is. And I mean, you can see VP, they're still very hesitant as whether or not they want to go for this. They still got just enough time if they were to rotate now, but I think at times now to be running on short. Bialy is looking to stay on the flank. They're making their way in, but with 20 seconds left, time is going to be of the essence here. They have to find these frags the second they pull on through into the site. The trade does come out as MSL goes down, but they've got to watch out because Magisk, he's waiting with bated breath to try and deny this bomb plant, and that could be disastrous. Picks up the first, the trade has to come through, and Neo, he will fall. Taz, luckily enough, is there, but I don't think there's enough time for them. No, there's no time for them to get the bomb down. Cajun B is going to save it just from hiding, and ultimately, Magisk on the site to deny that bomb plant, find the second, wins that round out for North. And that's the issue with VP taking it down to the wire like that.
Absolutely huge for Magisk, and how does that go unchecked? Always got to send a man in first. I know they were running out of time, but they did have a little bit to work with just to scout out the rest of that site before putting that bomb down. And in the end, it's going to go against VP, and they find themselves at a 5-round deficit once again. Still a little bit of money to work with. We do still see the AWP on Snacks. Taz and Bialy have an AK. It's just going to be Tech9 and a Deagle for Pasha and Neo. North, not the best economy either. Nice early kill from Magis once again with the FAMAS, taking down Snacks actually through the wall in the end, and they're going to have the man advantage. So VP already on the back foot in a round that really they don't want to be throwing away. They want to be getting back into this. They need to change things up, need to perhaps be thinking a little quicker on their feet, because they've been very slow in these rounds and definitely punished them in the last one, Harry.
Yeah, you can see the early aggression down from North on Banana. It's forced VP to leave a couple of players here. And it's not out of the fact they don't want to get pushed so much as they want to try and find an early advantage from a North that are going aggressive. I mean, you can already see that MSL's worked his way over towards the logs, and actually still claims another life. He's still alive and kicking, doing the damage. Finally, Taz and Neo, they pull through. They mop up the players on Banana. And I'm curious to see now if they do go just straight in for this push. Pasha's going to net himself the AWP. They've turned it into a 3-on-3. The HP on Pasha and Taz is not looking great. 20 HP between them, a mere 4 HP on Pasha. But they're going to be trying to sell this fake. They threw that smoke out towards CT on this B-bomb site. They make their way out through mid. You can see they've actually rotated a easy round. Only Cajun B on this site. The issue is he picks up Bialy first. That's the only 100 HP player for VP, leaving this on Taz and Pasha. As they make their way up through short, Cajun B playing it perfectly. Just looking to buy time, but both these players are one shot away from death, and as they round the corner, Taz going to go down. It's all on Pasha, 1v3. And as he just peeks round with the AWP, a measly 4 HP to his name. No match for the mighty roar of Cajun B's M4.
No mighty roars coming from the Polar Bears. They're going to have to Rico this round.
Or the Polish Bears.
Or the Polish Bears. I prefer that. I kind of like it as well. What would be a comfortable scoreline for VP? Just looking at the game already, would they be happy with maybe 5 rounds in this half?
I mean, 16-7 would be good for them. But no, I mean, yeah, I think maybe I think 6 is a decent amount to aim for. I mean, really, they'd like a couple more, but as like a bare minimum, something around there. Already this round's just gone disastrously. Bomb's been dropped very early on. You can see North have already rotated players around. Config is the guy who's up in app, so he's not going to leave just yet, and they leave AZ up towards top mid to trade things out if the worst does come to the worst. But they've secured the bomb, and with where it is and the buy that VP have, or the lack thereof, they're not going to be able to get this bomb back, which does mean North should be able to pick up an 8th here. They've already got that man advantage. Bomb is in the worst place imaginable.
I am impressed with the aggression from North, actually, really taking the initiative in these rounds against the Eco. They know full well what VP's economy looks like, and they're just pushing up mid, and they're not allowing VP to surprise them. After that second round where it was a little bit sloppy, North instantly just got on the aggressive, and they've switched things up, not allowing VP to get into this game whatsoever. Just 2 members remaining of Virtus.pro. Neo on a slither of health. Snacks also falls to Config Zorp. So all on Neo, of course, he hasn't got a hope in hell, let's be honest. Just 2 HP. Now his job really would be to survive, but with 40 seconds left, you'd expect North to start hunting this. I guess they don't really need to. They don't want to lose any of their own economy, but MSL spins around to finish off this one comfortably. 8-1 now. A very juicy lead for North, and VP need to try somehow to work their way back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue. I mean, the one thing is, though, if North keep this aggression up, even into these Byrons, you can see they're getting confident. I mean, the peak came in that last round when it really didn't need to, in through the smoke on the ramp over towards mid. And, I mean, you know, if this sort of aggression does come out, VP can play off the back of that. Overconfidence is a very big issue. It's something that maybe isn't addressed quite enough. And, you know, if they start to throw these early man advantages away for free, now, something I have like is North, they're not going to be doing that this time around. They've actually gone fairly passively. You can see they put Cajun B over towards B early on just to watch for a rush, reinforce the 3 players pushing on down. Now he's joining his comrades up towards A. Config over at Boy. They're going to miss that first shot, and that was so critical. It's allowed Neo to push on out and pick up 2. Pasha comes in swinging as well, and down goes Cajun B. MSL and Magis going to find themselves in a 2-on-4. Bomb goes down, and VP on the cusp of finding themselves a second round. Magisk is so far away. MSL, the only player who's nearby with a UMP as his rifle of choice, or SMG of choice, sorry.
I'm wondering how different that round would have been as well if that AWP shot had been taken, had been hit by Config. Instead, he was just overwhelmed by a very quick, aggressive push from VP. Neo is just going to spray down, eventually finds MSL as he backs off through the doorway. And as you said, Magis too far away to even slightly consider helping here, so he's just going to have to save his M4. Virtus.pro will put a second on the board. Better from them, just taking a quicker approach to the round. They've been very slow, very methodical about that play, and they've clearly just decided they want to switch it up. They caught North slightly off guard there, bursting out of apps and balcony. Even AZ couldn't managed to keep up with 3 people pushing him out of apps. It could have gone horribly wrong for them, to be honest. It's always a risky decision pushing out of balcony, but this time it has paid off. I'm not sure whether they'll be able to go for the same play next round, but we'll see now where Virtus.pro take this.
Oh, and there you go.
A nice little cheeky knife kill.
Yeah, a bit of a handicap. And this is the thing, I mean, North, they're clearly confident. Either that or that was a genuine accident, but
I think so.
Making their way out towards Banana now. 3 players here, and okay, things are getting hot and toasty if your name's Taz. Not looking too great, does have to throw smoke down, and it misses. Taz! Oh no! I don't even know how that missed. It was in the smoke, he should have put it out, and he's going to be feeling, understandably, probably a bit angry on the back of that. Now they've lost that man advantage because of the literal hell that was created on Banana. Now Magis goes and extends that even more, finding one this time with his M4. The nade's going to do some damage as well. Bomb has been dropped bottom of Banana. They leave Bialy up towards the top mid, but the rotate's coming in from KGB to reinforce this B-bomb site that much more. And this is where things get very problematic if you're VP. There's no opportunity for you to try and pick up a trade frag. You're relying very heavily on either Pasha or Bialy to open this up. And you can see actually as Bialy extends his way out towards this A-bomb site, he might be able to find config, but even then, it's not really going to help his teammates out over towards B. The one bright side is they can rotate background and pick up that bomb very easily. It's not like it's been dropped up towards B. It's not like it's been dropped on the push, so they do manage to get that at least, and as Pasha sneaks on out, he's got to watch out because Magic gets boosted over top of the smoke, railing some shots down range, now falls away, and MSL are going to take the peak at just the right time. They have the crossfire set up, no trades in sight, and that's been the real reoccurring issue here for VP.
As soon as I think VP are back into it, North, they just switch it up. The Molotovs were apparently too much for Taz. As you said, he's clearly going to be a little bit flustered at the fact he wasn't able to get his smoke down in time.
I mean, the smoke was down in time. That's the worst part.
He just seemed to have missed the flames. It was an odd one.
He must be the most unlucky man alive.
And he's one of the dads, as you said. He's the dads of Counter-Strike.
Exactly. And
the dad.
It's never a good day. It's never been a darker day to be a dad than today. You know, one of the big daddies of CS. I mean, the smoke missing like that, it just... Oh, that would tilt someone. But anyway, as we head into this round, we can see Snacks and Neo making their way out here towards Banana. Everyone for VP just pushing on up. There's no Molotovs here this time, Taz, so it should be okay. Bialy's been left over towards Apps once again. Just trying to find something early on. Now, this is something I'm not really sure I'm agreeing with anymore. Bialy's kind of... you know, the novelty's worn off on the back of having him over here towards this A-bomb. So you can watch for any early aggression, which is great, but it very rarely nets them anything early on. This time, they're actually going to turn their attention towards A, opt to rejoin Banali. Banali. And all move in towards this A-bomb site as a team. And that's something that worked out for them a couple of rounds ago. So let's see. They can have that same fate once again. It would be nice to see them start to pick up some rounds, especially when they've got an ideal buy such as this. And they're taking their time, sneaking on through. 3 players here for North.
Bialy was the man who got 27 frags in their last outing on Inferno, so I'd like to see him go for some entries. Does think about pushing through the smoke. Perhaps we're just trying to give a little bit of a sound cue, see if he can encourage any sort of bullets to come flying towards him, as now he will rotate around with his teammates. They do still have a little bit of control, but they're slowly running out of time. But once again, just 30 seconds to work with. In these rounds where they've been waiting this long, it has not gone well for them, but the push finally coming through. But KGB in a fantastic position, gets a straight on 2, finds the 3rd, thankfully, with teammates Config coming through and finishing him off. And that's just going to be Neo left on his own. And VP just leaving it a little too late once again, and they're 10-2 down. I don't like this slow play from VP, to be honest. As you said, putting Bialy in the apps doesn't seem to be working. Perhaps switch it up, put him through to Banana, for example. See if he can get an early pick over there.
And yeah, I think the award for most misleading spray goes to KGB there. I thought he got 3 as well.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know you thought he got 2 at least. But anyway, yeah, you know, VP, they have to try and find some, you know, maybe a new muse, a bit of inspiration to mix things up. And well, KGB going to be opting to just guillotine this approach already. He's already pushed down mid. Config doing the damage, has to watch out. There is still 1 player of Banana in the form of Taz. He's actually going to pick 1 up, but it's swiftly traded out. A team ace as everyone pulls their weight equally on the side of North. And for VP at this point, they're leaving things a lot down to the clock, and I feel like that's going to be a bit of an issue for them. Something that we know they're struggling with is just their overall performance. And, you know, even when we used to see teams back in the day that were very, very good at leaving it down to the last second, everyone had to be at peak performance for that to work. You had to be able to rely on getting those entries if you're going to leave it that late. And that's something that keeps coming back to bite VP. They have no time to check the angles. They have no time to make their way in and set up the smokes properly because there's only 20 seconds left by the time it comes to pushing on through. This time up towards Banana. They're just going to extinguish that Molotov now after pushing on through. Magic's able to find one, but MSL's there to trade things back as Snacks does get one in retort. Still the man advantage in favor of North. The MSL, just an iron wall that they can't possibly get past. Finally, Pasha with those massive biceps smashes on through. A 2-on-3 going to ensue as the bomb about to go down over here towards B. The rotate. First man on the scene is going to be Config as he looks to try and turn the tide of battle in towards this B bomb site. He's coming in hot with the AWP. Sneaking on up. Over towards Coffins, trying to buy time as his teammates rotate up through Banana. Cage and B and AZ both here. They have the crossfire set up. They know that no one's on Banana now for VP. It's going to narrow down so many locations on the site. There's really only 3 kind of locations left to check. Smoke's going to go down for the defuse straight away. They can have one of the players get on that. AZ to pick up the first. It's all on Pasha, who does claim 1 life, but Cage and B's there to instantly trade it back. And North, they're going to go ahead and take it 12-2.
Importantly, the VP were able to get the bomb down. At least I was impressed.
Yeah.
There was no crazy shenanigans coming out from North to stop them that time, but they went for a slightly more aggressive approach, which I'm happy about. I'm just really impressed with the aggression from North during VP's eco rounds. Every single time, they're bombarding up through middle and just really slaughtering VP, not giving VP even a chance to think in their eco rounds and get back into this game. 12-2 now. And we're looking at a very strong first half from North, and I honestly don't know how VP are going to respond to this. I wonder even if they can have a successful CT half as this one. His Config is just going to be scouting down through the middle, of course with the AWP, not with a scout, he's just scouting. His Magic's now going to get aggressive with his teammate, but Snacks and Pasha, they will team up very successfully, and now they can push onto this B site. They should be well aware that no one will be on it, but good work from Pasha, smoking off, and now he's going to get aggressive, see if he can find Config here. He cuts him down to 5 HP. But Config is just sitting, hoping, praying that he's not going to get pushed as his teammates finally come through. Pasha does finally find Config as well. It's a 4 versus 2 situation. It's going to be difficult for AZ and KJB to do anything here, but Pasha is found, so that's the first issue. But here comes Bialy from behind. Nice rotation from him, and that's the 3rd round for Virtus.pro. And that's going to be the end of the half as well. So that means we are going to go for a short break. We'll be back very shortly. Welcome back, everybody. So a 12-3 lead for North after that first half on Inferno, and I think VP needed that last round just to try and give them a little bit of momentum going through into the second half, but is momentum even going to help them at this point?
I mean, they don't. I mean, they probably have about as much momentum as a turtle at this point, right? I mean, turtle's very fast. Maybe tortoise. I don't know which one's slower. I need to brush up on my animal speeds. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know, 3 rounds isn't fantastic. I said they really needed 6 at like a bare minimum on that T side. The only kind of advantage is heading into that CT side, maybe they have some sick strategies we don't know about yet. One thing that was an issue was those trades, and heading into the CT side, I see that being an even bigger problem. It was something that happened time and time again. I have a whole bunch of stuff written down here that, you know, some of it was good from VP on their part. Some things I think they did do fairly well. The issue is it was just things like in round 7. If you remember, they headed in towards that B bomb site. There was very little time left. They're about to get the bomb down, but no one bothers checking the site properly. Magisk is still sat there. Peeks on out, completely denies the bomb plant. Neo, who is watching the bomb plant, like physically watching him, doesn't get the trade in time. And actually falls as well. And, you know, then there was just no time to get the bomb left. So they actually had the man advantage. They had the B bomb site, but no time.
That's
and they didn't check it.
Right?
Exactly, right?
You need to have someone pushing onto the site first before putting that bomb down. Do you think they just panicked because the timer was just ticking away and they were just like, we need to get the bomb down now?
Right, that's the issue with leaving it so late. When no one's feeling, you know, at their peak, when you're not playing at your best, it's really hard to play that sort of Counter-Strike where you let the time tick down, because when it does eventually come to pushing on in, you know, you're left in kind of such a hectic situation where your main focus is just to plant the bomb, you can get sloppy and you can leave out basic things like that. But from a team like VP, I really wouldn't expect that much.
And we look at the rounds that VP did win. It was when they did get a little bit aggressive, when they got into the round a lot earlier, went for those early peaks, went for the early picks, and they were successfully able to get onto sites nice and early on rather than in the last 30 seconds. The whole time, North were just turtling back into the site and saying, well, you can come at us. We can wait until the last 30 seconds.
That's the second time we brought up turtles today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Did you know? Oh, I actually had a whole bunch of turtle facts and now I can't remember them.
Shame.
Literally, this is the one moment that would have come in handy in my life.
You slightly disappointed me with your lack of turtle knowledge, but it's okay, I'll let you off, because now North are going to be on their T side, and they're going to get aggressive up Banana. Pasha actually gets an opening pick onto AZ, but that's elsewhere, as North still just sat here in Banana. I wonder whether VP will get aggressive down through middle now after that pick, or whether they will just happily sit back. 4 versus 5. North need to pick and choose as to where they are going to be heading. A really important pistol round for VP. If North do take this round, despite being a man down, that will be crushing for any chances of VP getting back into this game. But a pistol round for VP would be the right way to start this half, of course. Of course, it's easy to say that. At 12-3 down, they just need anything that they can get, to be honest. VP just holding their own and just waiting, being patient. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is VP, they need this pistol. If they don't get it, then we could just see North carried to the win on the back of the pistol and the consecutive anti-ecos. So they haven't really lost that man early on, but VP, they've taken a bit of an unnecessary gamble. They put Bialy over here towards B. He's playing the speedway rotate, which I do like. It means that they can get him between the two sites, but he is more dedicated over towards B, which is a gamble that if it paid off would be brilliant. But right now, it looks like the execute's going to be coming in over towards A. He's got to be quick on his feet as he makes his way on round. The bomb's going to go down. No one's actually in the site to deny this. Instead, they're going to play for the retake. 5v4 as the bomb goes down. Neo already sneaking up through mid, has lots of angles to check, but he's going in. They've got plenty of time to play around. Bialy has the kit. They've got 2 flashes. Plenty of utility to come back into this retake scenario with. But still, they've given so much time for North to set up these crossfires. Make things very difficult here for VP. Push going to come through. Magisk and Cajun, they take that first peek on out, and Cajun in the back line. He comes in with the flank, comes up big, and it's just guillotining these players. Like they have Taz and Pash, they go ahead and bring things back into the realms of possibility, but they have been tagged down low, and it's Cajun being config to try and deny this. Now Taz, he finds one, but the bomb time is ticking away. Cajun be able to ward short, might have done all he needed to, and he's going to take the frags as well. 4 frags for him. He stays alive. He secures that round for North, and just what a phenomenal way for them to kickstart this second half.
I mean, you said it was such an important round for VP, so they were kind of backing off, but then they allowed North onto the site. I think that's a mistake. They should have been playing slightly more aggressive, holding their angles, to be honest, on short and long. Just don't allow North to waddle on into the site that comfortably and then set up after plants so easily. When you know North are playing fantastically at the moment, they're hitting their shots, you really don't want to be going for the retake against a team that has been outgunning you, to be honest. As you said, phenomenal stuff from Cajun B just to clean that round up, but now they have a 13-3 advantage. They've also got the advantage of weaponry as well, so this is a very comfortable position for them. They should be able to finish this game off, to be honest, if they take these following rounds, but we'll see whether Virtus.pro can pull something out. They certainly need to. I feel like I've said that far too many times. This is Virtus.pro, who is sat in the relegation zone of Pro League at the moment. If they lose both of these games, they are definitely going to be in relegation. They need a couple of wins if they are to catch NIP and Hellraisers, who are above them just by 3 points in the moment in the Pro League. They can't worry about the results elsewhere. They just need to do what they can to try and get back into it, as AZ is just going to try and work with a flash in case anyone is hiding. No one pops out, though. So now he's going to work his way around with his teammate. Smoke is there as well. Is anyone waiting in Arch here? Might get caught out. Good positioning from Pasha here, but no, AZ pops out with a nice little peek there. Looks for a second as well. Somehow manages to escape with his life. Finally, Neo comes through with the 5-7 to kill him off. And then we're back to a 4 versus 4, Harry.
And once again, they've been locked out of this A-bomb site so early on. The advantage might be equal across the board of 4 and 4, but the bomb's going to go down, and that's going to be much in the favor of North. And already you can see the calls come in from VP. They've got themselves 2 SMGs. They've got a little bit of utility. They've got the pistols as well. So just saving to the next round. And that is the right call to make. It's a very, very smart decision. That's something that you can't take away from them. Their decision-making has been fine, you know, from like a strategic point of view. It's just in the moment. It's the mid-round calls that have been the issue. It's the communication for the trades that have been letting them down. But this decision is the right one to make. They're going to have another opportunity to put these SMGs to use in the next round. The pistols, the armor, they've got everything they need to try and find the next round. The issue is, if they don't, then we're going to see North take it to a 14-3 scoreline. And that's a very worrying prospect. And okay, Bialy's going to have his head removed. Config wants to go and do something nutty. Will fall as Neo peeks out, shows he's the true king of the UMP as he cements the hat-trick, gets himself 3 frags, and makes some fairly nice money as well on the back of that UMP. Oh, look at that. Stylish, slow motion, I like it. Production value.
Just casually jumping with the UMP. Disgusting stuff, but VP now 14-3 down. As you said, strategically they seem to be alright, but it's those calls. I think they've been umming and ahhing a little bit too much when it comes to where are we going to push. Certainly on their T side. Now on their CT side, they've just been overwhelmed by North. Not been holding their angles particularly well, to be honest. Allowing North to be getting onto the site far too easily, going for the retakes instead.
Yeah, and into this round, because you saw those couple of frags picked up by Neo, he's actually bought himself an M4. So this is their attempt at trying to pull something back before it gets out of hand. I mean, North 1 round away now from map point, picking up this first map. Very, very close to that. There's 2 rounds between them and securing this. So VP, they have to throw a spanner in the works now to give them at least that 1 round buffer, a little margin of error. North, they've gone and put almost everyone up here towards A. They leave Config behind on the lurk at Banana. In this, I mean, we've seen VP are more than willing to rotate someone off this A bomb site. This time they seem a little more reluctant to do so. And as that smoke goes down, we might be seeing a boost potentially coming over the top. Neo and Pasha. Neo's going to get boosted with that M4, and this could be their shot at trying to pick something up early on. The boost doesn't actually work. Pasha a couple of inches too short in the game.
But his biceps are wide enough, so it's fine. It compensates for the lack of height. As North still just taking their time here. They are going to push up Banana. Config might have to find one. Yes, he does take down Snacks, but meanwhile Neo has managed to get an opening as well. So it is back to 4 versus 4. I wonder whether that will now initiate a push. Cajun B also finds Bialy just sneaking around. So this will be the time. North will just take this and get aggressive onto the site. Neo's going to be the last point of defense. But he does find one. That's Cajun B taken down. Does just double check behind him. There is a smoke behind him that he can work with. Needs to go huge here to try and win this round. Does find another. Looks for more. Can't quite finish off Magisk. So now the bomb's going to go down. And it's into a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, but I mean, he does all he had to and more by picking up 3 frags there on their entries into the site. He puts it back into a 2-on-2. He's done a lot of damage on a Magisk as well, but Magisk, he's still alive and kicking. 28 HP and still taking heads clean off. Passion's going to go down. It's all on Taz, who walks into the waiting arms of Magisk. And he's going to hit the deck. 15-3. 12 rounds between VP and North. They've got to go ahead and get 12 consecutively. And I mean, this is just a very, very negative foreshadowing here for VP heading into Cash up next. We said it had to at least be a fairly competent performance from VP here, and it's been anything but. They're currently 12 rounds behind. They're going to be force buying up into what could very well be the last round of this game. You can see they've got a couple of Famises, a little bit utility. Pasha's got the Mag 7, which, he's done some magical things with in the past. Not sure if it's necessarily 12 rounds consecutively magical things in the past. But
certainly when we look at the results, I mean, going into Cash, we were saying that they had very little hope. Inferno was the map that they needed. And the fact they've struggled, well, an enormous amount in this game really worries me for the second map of Cash, to be honest.
Well, Neo's found some fire.
Neo has just found a couple of flowers that he's going to sit on in the hope that he can pick a few heads of North as they actually are going to be pushing towards B. Taz does find one with his fan as Cajun B goes down. Pasha also joins in. Snacks will get a bit of the action as well. So they've managed to make this work with the force up into this round. Just AZ and Config left behind smoke now. Can they do the unthinkable in a 2 versus 5 situation? It's definitely doable with how well they've been hitting shots at the moment. The VP should be able to close this round out and take this game a little bit further than perhaps we had expected it to go. We were thinking it might have been done and dusted after this round. Need to see something spectacular, though.
Look at the push coming into bottom mid from VP. This is perfect. Pasha's here, finds the first one away. He's so much pressure on Config. He's 1v5. He's trapped. They're going to check the angle, and he's looking completely the wrong way. Snacks, he'll decapitate you if given half of the chance. And, well, Config learns that in a very harsh way. The money on North isn't going to be looking great, but they opt to force buy anyway. They want to try and either pick this up now, or alternatively, any damage they can do to VP's economy going to be worth its weight in gold. Even if it does leave them down, I mean, they've got so much, they've got such a huge round difference to play around with here. There's no reason for them to not try and just take one on the back of being cheeky. And well, already for them, 2 players up alt mid, 3 Looking to go straight up through middle. Actually, MSL throwing some utility up towards Banana, but now rejoining his teammates as they rush up towards Apps. Out mid, it's Config with the AK, taking the head clean off Pasha. No one there to trade. Bialy, the player who's the eyes are very much firmly fixed on, and actually he does land the shot to trade things back into a 4-on-4. Gets revenge for the death of Pasha. They still got so much more work to do. The push going to come on in. Bialy only able to get one before KGB does the deed of taking his head off, and now it's all on Neo up towards Balcony. He's got to be the linchpin, and he doesn't get anything done. AZ further extending that advantage here for North. Bomb's going to go down in the A-bomb site. Plenty of time for these guys to try and get into some after plants. We can see the players on site. AZ and KGB have the crossfire set up with Magisk in pit. But as the push does come out, really we need to see Taz or Snacks do exactly that. Okay, Magic's going to go down into a 2-on-2. AZ's about to get hot and heavy and goes down. It's all on KGB. 1 versus 2, playing around the site, and Snacks does do the deed. Takes his head clean off, and VP, they're going to find themselves a 5th.
Yeah, VP slowly trying to crawl their way back into this game. Still a momentous amount to do for them, to be honest, if they're going to get back into this one. But certainly laying the foundations nice and early. North now going to be forced to eco here. Could have been a very, very different round if Neo was able to pick up that frag with the FAMAS from Balcony, to be honest. But thankfully his teammates will come in and finish it off anyway. 10 rounds behind. Can they hold this strong? These are the rounds that North were just pushing up middle. They were getting aggressive. They knew it was an eco, and they weren't allowing any crazy things to happen. However, VP are going to be playing this completely differently because they know they cannot lose one more round. If they do, they're very likely going to be competing in relegation at the end of this season. But Config pops out, finds a Bialy just peeking around. Thankfully, Pasha gets the trade. So Config not going to be able to pick up that weapon. Instead, North now are going to be pushing up Banana here, seeing if they can catch anyone pushing and being slightly overzealous from Virtus.pro. But VP playing this so passively, which actually is probably a little bit of an advantage for them. If they had got a little bit excited and pushed out, they may have lost this one, but instead they're just playing their cards right, sticking to their guns and holding these sites well.
Yeah, the high-powered hand cannons for North, already claiming 1 life, looking to try and get more work done. Taz watching the angle, does do damage onto MSL, but still got more work left to do. Pop Flash going to come out, and Snacks now peeking out wide. They have the crossfire set up perfectly over here towards B. No trades found just yet. The push going to come in through the fire and flames. AZ able to get 1, but then there's Snacks standing firm to hold these guys back. Cage and B going to find himself 1v3, and all eyes firmly on him, pushing on out over towards B. Pasha takes him down. And VP, they're still in this, 15-6, pulling things back to a more respectable scoreline. Are starting to amount some cash as well over on the CT side. You can see that Snacks has $8,000. Everyone else still trailing behind significantly, but still. The bank of Virtus.pro investing for Bialy there. Buy going to be coming in from North. And this is where VP, if they want to try and make their comeback, they really have to not only win this round out, but they want to try and keep a couple more players alive. The money is becoming somewhat concerning. And they're going to be full buying every single round because, you know, every round is potentially their last round of the game. The push going to be coming up over towards Banana early on, and this aggression hasn't been seen by VP yet. Curious to see if they can adapt to it. Smoke's going to go down. The push coming on through. Flash is raining into the B-bomb site, but Taz fighting the first. Still got a lot of damage left to do, and MSL going to rip straight through his face. Snacks 1v4 on the site. Got to buy time for the rotates, and MSL going to shut him down. Neo in through the smoke, trying to do something risky, and it doesn't pay off. He pays for it with his life. Into a 2-on-3. Cage and B on Banana. Magisk Boy here as well. MSL is alone in that B-bomb site with the bomb in hand.
All on Bialy and Pasha. Can Pasha do anything with the AWP here? Can he go absolutely huge for his team? Still no bomb down yet for North. They're reluctant to do so until they get any sort of information, but there's some information for you. It's Pasha's head being ripped off by Cajun, and now it is just Bialy on his own. Does he have any hope? No, he doesn't. MSL shuts it down and finishes the game in style, and that is going to be North comfortably taking a victory over VP and maybe securing VP's fate in relegation, to be honest. I'm looking, if NIP and Hellraisers both win, that's it. VP, they're in relegation next season. That's not something anyone would have been expecting when we started out Season 5 of Pro League. Yeah,
you know, we all know that VP are bad online, but it's just, you know, how low are they going to sink, essentially? I don't think anyone, you know, it's like they have an anchor tied to them at this point. They just kind of keep keep falling, and that's a huge problem for them in terms of their mentality. But the kind of defining fact is I hope when we see them go back on LAN, they just have that return to form and everyone can kind of take solace in that at least. North played extremely well there as well. At the same time, it wasn't really anything stand out from them. They were just clearly very confident, and that's something that lended itself to them very well up against VP. We saw as you kept addressing the aggression down through middle, it kept catching them off guard. You could see that North had such a good idea of the buys that were coming in from VP. And I mean, look, here's an example of just that. Config with that ridiculous flick. It still makes me happy now just thinking about it.
But we speak about how far can Virtus.pro fall. They're going to be in relegation, so they will compete against a team that is being promoted from the Premier next season. Is there a possibility of them even losing that, do you think? Looking at the teams that we know are
I mean, I believe they're playing up against either Big or Penta, right? That's what it's looking like if they do end up going down to it. And I was actually speaking to a couple of people about this earlier, you being one of them, and in all honesty, I think Big are doing very well online. VP, they've had that fall from grace, and I think heading into the relegations, I'm not entirely confident right now, and this is a very big deal. I'm not entirely confident that, you know, they could win this relegation game. We usually see them have a drop-off online, but this is almost unlike anything we've kind of seen before. It would be naive of me to say that it's that they wouldn't win, because they are a team, as I said, that can go from being, one of the best teams in the world to very quickly being one of the worst in kind of the pro scene at the drop of a hat, seemingly. And that's even more volatile online. At least on LAN, they're fairly consistent, right? But yeah, heading into that relegation spot, if they end up in it, I'm not entirely confident of what exactly the outcome of that would be. I think a lot of people think VP will be able to win it straight up, right? But I'm not sure if that's the case.
Depends what VP turns up. I think, as you said, like it's going to be Virtus.pro or Virtus.pro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be the real difference. On the other side of the spectrum, then, we have North, who now will find themselves on 54 points. If Mouse lose their first game, that means North comfortably will just win the groups outright, which will be a very good feeling going into finals, of course. And really, they just looked like a completely different side from what I was expecting from the start of the season. I was not thinking that VP were going to be falling this badly. I was expecting to see VP kind of the VP that I've seen on LAN so many times. But I guess I should have learnt my lesson from last season of Pro League, when VP were just near the bottom as well. But they were able to pull it out when it came to it. They weren't in relegation last season, so I was thinking they were going to be able to do the same this season. I'm just really worried for them, to be honest. I mean, perhaps results are going to go their way and they still have a chance to get out of that relegation, but even looking at their round difference, to be honest, I think this one's going to be a little bit of a struggle for them.
I mean, it went from being something that rested entirely on their shoulders. If they won both of these, then they could have very well done it on their own backs. But now it becomes a lot about what the other teams do and their outcomes as well. I mean, like you said, you have to rely on the fact that it's NIP and Hellraisers, right, that they don't win out their games and stay where they are. That's the only feasible way that VP can try and lift themselves up. If we see those games, go the way of NIP or Hellraisers, then that's when things get called into question. And it's not a nice feeling relying on someone else's game to affect your own, right? The ball is no longer in their court. They have to pick this up to even stand a chance to begin with, which moving in a cash, I mean, I'm really not that confident in it.
I wonder whether they are going to be checking out the results elsewhere to see how they are standing, but of course Inferno is